If you've been searching YouTube in order to find out what the best light is for photography, or the best lighting setup is for studio photography, or the best constant light for photography, then you've come to the right place. I want to give you my recommendations here as to what you should look out for when making these crucial decisions when you're just getting started with lighting and photographing people. I myself have been working for the last 30 years, I believe, if I do the math, maybe as a professional photographer. And I've been using lighting for the last 25 years. So I want to share with you today in this video the things that I've learned. So make sure that you stick around to the end so that you can make sure that you're buying the right gear as you move forward on your portrait photography journey. I started off my career as a photojournalist in the 90s, and I started off with lighting in about 1999. And the very first lights that I had were these very basic White Lightning Ultra 10,000s and 2 umbrellas. They were a little bit better than speed lights, but they got me started on my journey. You might hear the phrase all the time, OCF. That just means off-camera flash. And it's just shorthand for saying that we're going to take a light that isn't mounted to our camera and move it off somewhere. I've photographed people for the longest time, including using lights to photograph portraits and sports, and also lifestyle images for national advertising campaigns. And so I've come a long ways since I got started with those very first 2 lights and umbrellas. But every journey starts off in the same place. It starts off with that very first purchase. So my goal for today's video is to share with you the things that you should really be looking out for and considering when buying your first lights. Because I know it can be daunting and you want to make sure that you buy the right thing. And that's what this video is all about today. So I want to start off by talking with you about the idea of continuous lights versus flash. And I made a video that's all about this. If you want to watch it up here, I'll link to it. But let me just sort of shorten it up for you, if you will. Continuous lights are great if you're working in a controlled environment where you can black out the windows and turn off the overhead lighting, and you're photographing a person that will sit there still for you, or maybe products and that sort of thing. Or you're doing video and photo on the same set. That's really important. If you're doing that, continuous lights are going to be a great choice. It's going to also offer you what you see is what you get. And that could be great as well, because you're going to see the changes in real time. However, if you're trying to photograph a group of people, like a family, having continuous lights might not be the best choice, because you might not be able to get really high quality images. And that comes from the idea that in order to get depth of field, that's things in focus from the front to the back, which you would encounter when photographing a group photo, you're either going to need a lot of light, or you're going to need to make your camera really sensitive to light. And when you make the camera really sensitive to light, what that does is degrades the image quality. And sometimes having the brightest LEDs that there are indoors is not going to be enough to capture that family group photo. So that's why flash would be better. Another reason is we might not be able to control the light in the room that we're in. Maybe we're in a convention center shooting business headshots, and there's really strong overhead lighting that's yellow. Well, we can't turn those lights off because we're not in a room where we can control that. Then that light is going to bleed into your pictures. So we're going to need to overpower that. And that's a situation where flash is really good as well. Also, we can use flash to overpower the sun outdoors, or to match its power in order to get really nice flattering photos. With LED lights, we're probably never going to be able to match the output of the sun, or work sometimes in those mixed environments. And so that's a situation where flash would be better. And because flashes have a brief burst of light, that allows them to stop motion as well. So you can use them to photograph dancers, and maybe those family photos where the kids are running around out of control. Now, when it comes to picking continuous lights, I want to kind of give you a little bit of a guide there, and I'm going to give you some recommendations as well for purchasing flash as well. So let me start off with a little story though. I was mentoring a couple that was trying to get started doing headshot photography, and they were using continuous lights, and they were having a little, they were struggling. And so I went to their studio and I realized that they were using 60-watt LEDs made by a company named Newer. And unfortunately, these lights don't have enough power to do a number of things, including photographing people, because what happens is that when you put something at them in a softbox, which we'll talk about in just a minute, it cuts down on the total light output. And then the light from these modifiers isn't enough to even match the light coming through a window on a cloudy day or create much of a high quality image indoors at all, period. So I recommended to them that they get at least a 300 watt LED like the Nanlite FS300, which I own. It would be even better if you're using LED lights in these portrait situations to have something like the Forza 500 or the Forza 720. You can get the daylight versions, and that just means that they're going to output light that matches the color temperature of the sun, that same color of lighting. And this will be great for general photography, portrait photography indoors. It'll give you the most quality possible that you're going to get from an LED at this time. There are colored LEDs as well that can output any color that you can imagine. And this can be great for ease of use, but you're going to run into the same limitations that you will when using LEDs in general. Whereas if you're using flash with colored gels, you can use that colored light and you can stop motion and get depth of field and really high quality images. And so that may be a better choice for you. When it comes to the power of the flash units that you want to purchase, I would suggest buying something that's about 250 or 300 watt seconds up to about 400 watt seconds for your first strobe. This will give you the ability to match light outdoors if you need to, and it will also give you plenty of latitude to work inside in various modifiers and various conditions in order to take great portraits. So this light might include something like the Profoto B10X or the Elinchrom FIVE or Elinchrom THREE that I own, or the Flashpoint Explorer 400 or the AD400 Pro from Godox. These more expensive options are going to, well, be more expensive, and there are going to be cheaper ones. I chose the moderately priced ones, mostly because Elinchrom has a really good reputation for build quality and longevity, and so there probably is always going to be a trade-off between price and longevity, give or take. But I decided to go with a brand that was moderately priced with a good reputation. So now that we've talked about the lights themselves, let's talk about the modifiers. But before we do that, we need to talk about light quality and light placement. So what I mean by light quality is the softness of the light. For the most part, most people photographing people are going to want to have soft light in order to do that. So they're going to want to use a softbox in order to take that raw, bare light and soften it up a little bit. Right now, I'm using a Nanlite 90 centimeter parabolic softbox in order to light myself. And what that's doing, it's creating really nice soft light on my face, and the shadows are being filled in by the overhead lighting in the room. And so this is a good modifier with constant lights. My best recommendation though for a softbox would be an Elinchrom 100 centimeter deep Octabox, because it's very high quality and very versatile, and I've been using it for about the last 10 or so years, and I recommend it to everyone. It's great for headshots, and it's also great for full body and shooting outdoors, and also shooting headshots in, let's say, an office environment where having a 5 foot or 5 meter, 1.5 meter Octabox might be too big and overbearing. So that's what you're going to probably use for most portraits, is soft light, and that's why I would suggest a 3 foot or 1 meter Octa like the Elinchrom 100 centimeter deep Octa. The next thing though would be to get a beauty dish or a 30 centimeter or 12 inch large hard reflector. The reason for that is that these modifiers produce really nice crispy light that could be good for editorial or fashion or maybe headshots of actors, or they're really efficient outdoors as well. And so they could be a really good choice in order to mix it up and add more dynamicism to your portraits. So I would start off with a 3 foot Octa and then add the beauty dish. Now, if the 3 foot Octa is out of your budget, I would consider getting around a 3 foot or let's say 105 centimeter deep umbrella with the diffusion sock or cover. You don't have to get the socket first. You could just get the umbrella. That's going to give you very good basic light. And that's how I started off, with a 30-inch, very cheap umbrella. And I built it up from there. Now, after you selected your modifier, you're going to need to know where to place it. And that's why I would suggest that you watch this full video that I made about the 9 types of portrait lighting so that you can learn where to position your light in order to get great results. Choosing the best light for portrait photography really depends on your specific needs. But for most people, a 100 centimeter Octabox or 3-foot Octabox and a 250 to 400 watt second light is going to be a great choice. When you look at those lights though, make sure that they are capable of TTL and high-speed sync. And I have videos about those specific topics which you could check out as well. And also, if you're interested in learning a little bit more and taking things to the next level, I actually have a lighting handbook that covers one light setups. And I have lighting handbooks as well that cover multiple light setups, black and white and gel. So you might want to check that out. Or you might consider attending one of my in-person workshops or joining my online members only learning platform, the Academy with John Gress, where you get exclusive videos and also can participate in 2 live Zoom sessions where you can ask me questions directly so that I can help you grow your skills and take things to the next level. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and sign up for the bell. If you have any questions about the specific light that you should buy for the type of work that you want to do, feel free to ask in the comments and I will get back to you and talk to you soon.